as social workers, it's really important to remember that when working with families and their family systems and their dynamics can always be different. There are no two families that are exactly the same, and that's okay. But for this assignment, we are identifying how family dynamics might become set when a family member drinks too much, to a problematic proportion. And before diving into that, I think it's important to note the assumptions of family dynamics, or some of them. One being that a change for one person within the family system, the change affects all members sometimes, and that's really important for the social worker to acknowledge, that just because one member has this major thing going on, it still trickles down to other family members as well. Typically, they're all just trying to find the balance within the change and the stability. This looks different for everyone, but families usually operate according to an established set of rules. Families, as we know, operate within boundaries, but these rules are kind of just a guide and an understanding of how they operate within their system. And so when families have their boundaries pushed, it affects the family functioning from the day-to-day operations and things of that nature. So for this assignment, I'm going to use the scenario of a widowed father, and he has a 16-year-old female child and an 8-year-old male child. So, single father, 2 children. He just recently lost his wife. They lost their mother, and the father's recently started drinking, like heavily drinking. His responsibilities have seemed to become less important to him, and so the roles within this family dynamic have shifted a bit. So the 16-year-old child, she has assumed the role, somewhat like a parent role, because she is the one that has been responsible for making sure that her younger brother is getting up, going to school, he's fed, he's doing homework, just all of the tasks that parents should be doing. So she's assumed this role recently. The father has started to become messy in the home. He drinks out of proportion that is problematic, and he's also not showing up to work. So in this instance, for this scenario, the 18-year-old child, she's what we would call, or this situation is what we would call parentified. And that is when the adults in the scenario are acting like a child and the child is acting like a parent. So the roles have reversed, and as the social worker that would intervene in this scenario, it's really our responsibility to make sure that each member in this family system has support. So finding their support system, whether it just be the social worker, whether it be support groups, any form of support for this family. Also, as a social worker, it would be beneficial to this particular family in the scenario to reestablish roles. Once that support is there, and once the conversations are happening, it's really imperative for the child and the parent to reestablish the roles and make sure that everyone knows that this is what the new normal is going to be like, and this is what we're going to try to strive for, and things of that nature. So the social worker would have her job cut out for her, but overall, the point is that when a change happens with one family member in this scenario that it affects all the other members that are included in that family system.